Welcome to my Pecha Kucha by me, Nicola Thompson. This is the Durham University Law School, and it is one of the most impressive law school buildings in the world, ranked 51st. This is my journey into work as I travel along the road to Durham city centre. So here we've arrived at work, and what we're looking at here is the school chapel. There's actually 97 steps that lead up to the chapel. Each one of them is representing a schoolboy who died in the First World War. This is also a location for where we get together as a school for reflection, for prayer and for school assemblies. Here you find my creative environment. I teach 11 to 18-year-olds art at this school, and you can also see me. I'm in the pink shirt, and that's where my classroom is as well. What of you? Our school is 600 years old. We celebrated that last year as we were founded by Henry VIII in 1414. It really doesn't matter what weather elements I'm facing. When I go past this particular view on my way to the city centre, I really am in awe and feel completely inspired. Here you see in the bottom view, this is the Archaeology Museum, and then above that is Durham Cathedral. The riverbanks are quite an attraction both for the locals and the tourists. I spend time down here because my husband is a rower, and I do some photography whilst I'm there. But you can see the crowds on the banks. They're there for picnics, they're there for exercise, fresh air and views, but regatta season really is quite popular. During Norman times, I'm sure getting into the city centre was a lot tougher than it is now, but what you have is historical remnants left over, and to get into the city centre not only do you have to cross bridges, but there's also tunnels, and this is one of my favourite routes as we lead up here to the cathedral. Welcome to Durham Cathedral. This is part of the World Heritage Site, and the present cathedral was founded in 1093 AD, one of the finest examples of Norman architecture. This is a beautiful courtyard that floods with sunlight, but you've also seen it yourself probably if you've watched Harry Potter. Who wouldn't want to make Durham Cathedral out of Lego? Here you pay £1 to receive a brick and you place that brick, but by doing so you're actually creating funds towards the Open Treasure project, which is then creating more money for helping projects around the cathedral. George Clark is really on board with this. The cathedral is swamped in artwork. It's beautiful to see both the very, very old and intricate right through to the very, very modern and contemporary. And as I've mentioned in my research, Bill Viola was one to present his video installation there, and Paul Arago, and here's two other wonderful examples. So just outside the cathedral you can find here the Palace Green, which is where you can see the Durham Castle. We also have the University Library, which has the Magna Cartas and the earliest English written books, and also Cafe on the Green, where I've just recently had a photography exhibition for a couple of months. Here I try to capture a bit of a flavour of what a Durham city street looked like. We've got some Tudor, Edwardian, Victorian, modern buildings all clustered together here. We've got some fantastic boutiques and cafes. I think this really kind of gives you a typical view of one of the streets. I love the indoor marketplace, and what you find here is lots of human interaction, shouting, selling, colour, expression. There's a lot going on here. Mr. Kennedy is a fishmonger. He's one of the fathers of the children who work at our school, and he supplies our fish for our artworks. Here we have a few of the monuments and statues in the city centre. What you can see in the centre is the most modern of the three. This is the monks bringing St Cuthbert's body back from Lindisfarne, which is something that is of historical value to the city. Striking the balance between new and old is quite tricky, but Durham seems to have managed to get it right. We're constantly seeing new developments taking shape around the city centre itself. Here's one down by the Gala Theatre where we're seeing new buildings coming up regularly. Looking at the creative industries, here we have Artichoke. This is a company who like to put on art events outside and in unusual locations. And this happens every 3 years in Durham if the funding is available. And this illuminates the whole of Durham Centre with artworks and commissions. People who go to see art in the northeast tend to go to the Baltic and the Lane Gallery up in Newcastle and Gateshead, but Durham does have its own art gallery at the DLI Museum. We do have things such as the Palazzi printmaking. This is a great space generally and has wonderful lighting too. Wow, what a view. This is Wharton Park. It's described as People's Park, or was in 1858, and has just received £3 million worth of lottery funding to revamp, giving the whole park new artworks, new cafes, new play areas. Fantastic view from here. Cobbled streets are a common occurrence around Durham Centre, and Halford Tour Series, which was a cycle event in 2011 and 2012, took the route up some of these cobbled streets around the school where I work, and this is one of those images from one of the challenging inclines. So about 2 minutes drive up the road from work is the Botanical Gardens. As you can see, we've got a couple of statues sitting in the grounds themselves. This is very typical. There's a huge amount of sculptures here, as well as woodlands, acres of woodlands, greenhouses. It is a really beautiful place. 20 slides, 20 seconds. It really isn't enough to sort of try and explain sort of the inspiration that I have around me daily. I hope this has really just given you a flavour of what Durham City has to offer, but hopefully you get the sense of pride and excitement that I have when I'm here.